when she's vulnerable in Euphoria, she's someone who really knows pain. You can tell you can't act that vulnerable and not have anything to draw from. So but she's a survivor. She's self-made. Barbie Ferreira is an incredibly strong human being and a powerful artist. And so, and a wonderful person. So I was like, oh, you've got this ability to see this light, and but you've been through stuff, and that was very much the character for me. That someone who made space for themselves in the world, that the world didn't like roll out a red carpet for them. Yeah.
Tracie, good to see you again. I'm so glad this worked out because
Hey, is Jonathan going to stay? Do you want to stay, Jonathan? Or you want to turn your camera? Okay, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry.
oh,
I didn't know if
I
you
didn't
wanted
see
it.
him. I did the speaker
Oh,
view.
I didn't know if you wanted him in your recording, but sorry. Wait, start over. Whatever you want.
I'm just so glad to get to talk to you again. Like I know we had like 4 minutes last time, so I'm like, I had all these hard pressing questions on a junket, but when this was presented to me, I'm like, yes, please, let's make this
Uh,
happen.
Absolutely. It was wonderful talking to you. I can't wait to talk to you more.
Uh,
Yeah.
how are you? How you been? I mean, the movie's so close to the release. Is it exciting, anxious? Like, how do you feel in front of a release, especially it's such a big one?
It's weird, it's like I feel like it's like giving birth and sending your kid off to college on the same day. Like I don't know how to describe it to people, and you just, you hope you did everything you can do, and that they're gonna live a good life, and they're gonna that they're healthy and they'll thrive. But I just hope people really get out to the theater is the thing because we this is a communal experience, and so I'm just sitting here thinking, are gonna go? They're gonna go. We really indie film, we need people to go. We need people, so many films are not getting bought, so many quality films. And so we're an example here of one that did. So we actually need to do well in a way to say like, hey, look, buy more films like this. You know?
100%. And yeah, it's a rare thing to get an indie. And not only an indie that one that's not not an action one or some sort of thing, a drama, a real drama with natural comedy in it too. But
Yeah.
movies like this are so hard to get to the movie theaters.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And there can, it's kind of a throwback. It's kind of nostalgic to have sweet movies about people and real people doing
Mhm.
real things without all these special effects, and everything's not like a remake or a sequel or something. And but I think we really need it. I think I'm seeing from audiences. I've been around the world at film festivals and also these preview screenings leading up to this weekend, and I really do see that people need it, like in their souls. They need this movie.
I agree. As someone that saw it, that was impacted by it, I 100% agree. How long has this process been for you? Not only after you wrote it, and then, how long has this movie, aside from the story cells, but the movie portion of it, been with you until this point, to this release? I'm guessing it's probably been a lot of years in the
4 years,
making.
yeah, 4 years, which is
Uh,
actually pretty fast for a lot of them. I had
Technically.
another one I was trying to do before this that was years that never got off the ground, and so from writing it until theatrical release is a little under 4 years actually. So I'm like, hey, but I was very, very driven, Jim. I was I was going to make this come hell or high water. So I think it might have went a little faster from sheer force of will.
Yeah. And you mentioned like the child's getting born sort of thing, but the
Yeah,
journey, you get to look back now at that journey because once it's released, it's sort of out there for the world to see and it's out of your hands. But do you
yeah.
not think about that journey that took you on from the beginning stages to where it is now? I mean, is that something now you can look back and reflect on a little bit?
I think so. You learn so much. You're almost a different person at the end of a movie than you are when you start. Even if you think you had it figured out in the beginning, you realize you you learn as the characters learn. You learn things that we had so many obstacles in this film, but I had the best team in the world, and so we grew together and we faced those, and forged real bonds, with the cast and crew. So I think whatever I do next, this movie has really prepared me for you know to continue, like I couldn't what I don't know. I'm just so grateful. That's all I can say.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you can feel it. And the thing is, another thing I thought about, while watching this too, I'm like, the actors here are so integral to these characters. You switch off either John's character or Barbie's character with some other actor, it's a whole different movie. And it almost scared me to the thought of like, what if you had casted somehow just one actor wasn't available, or there's so many things that could happen that these two
Yeah.
were just the right people. And I'm looking at the all the other cast too. Like I did a review on the film, by the way, like a YouTube one. I think I did like half an hour just talking about all the joys of it. But even the supporting actors, French and Rachel Bay Jones and all these actors came together. It was almost seemed like everyone was meant for their role, but especially the leads here. Did you think about not only how you attained them, but like, man, this could have been such a different movie just with one of them not being part of this puzzle?
Absolutely, because things change along the way. You maybe have money from one place, then you have to come for another place, and maybe some people see your vision, some people don't, and so there were a lot of ideas, and I had to like really stick to my guns, and just different ideas of the way people saw this movie, and what some people wanted to make it for a much bigger budget, and that was going to cause us to make creative decisions that were just not right for the film. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, do you want to ruin the movie? Like, did you read the script? Like these ideas are like, I just, and I'm like, look, these people have indie spirits. They're stars, but they have indie spirits. And maybe there's a world in which they'll come on board at a low budget. Maybe these particular people will get it, because I watched I like to watch behind the scenes of actors. I watch interviews with them and make sure that they're kind to people. I listen to podcasts. I try to find things where they might say, sometimes they'll throw it away. They'll say like, well, I always wanted to play a role like blah, blah, blah. But anyway, and then it's like, wait, that's the nugget from the whole thing, that
Yes.
this actor that we put in this box over here want to do this other thing that we never knew and you never got the chance to do. And that really lights me up, as and not every actor can do that. Not every actor can some people are put in that box because that's what they do, but other actors just open the door and they'll just shine. Like, and I feel like across the board, my cast really brought themselves to their roles and their full hearts. I like to say that I wasn't casting actors, I was casting hearts. And I think people can feel that in the film. They can feel just we made a little family on set too, a little chosen
Yes.
family of our own.
Oh man, another thing, like some actors are just made for certain parts, whether it's like when you watch certain actors and hear Barbie, especially, like I don't know how much of it is actually her and her experience, because
Yeah,
it's so real, it just seeps through the character. Like, is
yeah.
it something you see as someone who wrote this movie and directed this movie? Like, she's living this person or might be this person some way or knows this person so well, because there's no sense I ever, when watching this movie, I thought that she was acting. At no
Oh,
point. I just thought she is that person. She
yeah.
literally became the character here. And I didn't know at some point, was it like sort of her living maybe through her own experiences through Lily too? What sort of conversation did you have with Barbie and just knowing that this girl is Lily and the right person for this?
I had watched the choices that she makes as an actress. I watched her vulnerability in Euphoria, and then,
Hmm.
her childlike awe and unpregnant and her wit.
Yep.
And usually you don't find all those things in the same person. And, when she's vulnerable in Euphoria, she's someone who really knows pain. You can tell. You can't act that vulnerable and not have anything to draw from. So but she's a survivor. She's self-made. Barbie Ferreira is an incredibly strong human being and a powerful artist. And so and a wonderful person. So I was like, oh, you've got this ability to see this light, and you've been through stuff. And that was very much the character for me, that someone who made space for themselves in the world, that the world didn't like roll out a red carpet for them, but they created their own space, and also that they were aware of the darkness but chose the light. That was very important to me, because I needed people to see Lily as a survivor, not a doormat. It's very easy to look at her and not really see her as a character, but I knew that Barbie would, based on the choices that she makes as an actor, because you can't make those choices and not know where you're coming from, and so we would sit down, and I'd tell her my stories, she'd tell me her stories, and so Lily kind of became this amalgamation, or a Venn diagram of sorts, like, whereas here's my story, here's her story, and wait, they overlap more than we realized, and that's Lily. So she was never playing me, because it is inspired by, and it's its own character. Lily's her own character,
Yeah.
but we definitely tapped into each other's shared experiences.
Yeah, and the thing is, her authenticity and rawness makes her so likable. And the
Yeah.
character with the struggles and ups and downs, you feel for this person. And it was wild because I'm like, I've never felt watching a movie for a character as much as this individual. It's as if it was like a family member, a person you know in your life, because you feel for them, you want to be there for them, you want to give them a hug sort of feeling as you're watching her go through. And it's like one of the ultimate nicest humans, and you hate that what's happening to her too. And just be able to bring that out, that humanity that she did. uh I don't think I've ever been that connected to a character that I almost imagine as a real person. Did you have these feelings too when you're watching it through the dailies or whatnot, or just seeing it in front of you, that you want to give her a hug?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're rooting for her from the
Yeah.
minute you see her. It's just like, oh, this girl deserves a win. Give her a win.
Yes.
She has earned it, you know. And I don't want to give too much away, but there's moments where she makes certain decisions, which you'll remember from the script, from the film.
Yeah.
And people cheer for her. They really cheer for her and the audience. And I think that's so beautiful because we get to, there are a lot of people like this in our lives. There are a lot of people that are going through things, and maybe we have to look a little harder to see what it is they're going through and why it's hard for them. And then when they do these baby steps of change, maybe it is worth standing up and cheering for them. Maybe it is worth clapping, and if we treated things like that, maybe people would be more apt to change. So
Yeah.
I there was not a false note from her, from day one. She showed up. We had a lot of trust. It's really important to me to build trust right away with the actors and to keep it hopefully for our whole lives, because I want to work with the same people. You build these relationships, and I try not to think of them as one-offs.
That's great. And
Like I want I want to kind of like my own Paul Thomas Anderson. Maybe I'll get my
yes.
group. my
You got
my
the right
my
ones already in
humble.
the first one. I mean, to work with John Leguizamo and Barbie, I mean, that's already a treat in itself. The range that they have, and just the connection you were able to build here too. It just felt, another thing too. When I was kind of reviewing the movie, I'm like, to the outside world, these two characters, like immediately in society, would be judged like, oh, it's so creepy, or it's like, oh my God, it's gross, such a young girl talking to an older guy, and we always tend to make sexualize it or make it something, about like, oh, he's trying to use her for something or some kind of gain. And the purity of this movie is so, it also kind of hits us as a society, that we're so quick to judge certain situations and people and make it about something selfish or a personal gain. And it's not about that there's actual people out there that you can make relationship with, different people, different ages, and they don't want anything from you too. And that's what really stood out about this movie, the innocence of a connection, a true connection between two humans in a friendship form. Tell me about that, because it really stuck through and it came through this film, that sort of aspect of it.
Yeah, we like to, we say a lot that this is one of the few positive movies about social media, because we're often
Yeah,
so we're used to horror films or something untoward or nefarious, right? And so and I'm not saying to not be careful on the internet, just to be clear,
sure.
but I am saying that there are good people out there, and the internet can be a tool to have us connect and be kind to each other. It doesn't have to be used to divide each other, to divide us. It doesn't have to be used as this, dumping ground for our anger and bullying and everything. When I would I'd get some negative comments or something, it only takes one positive comment to turn something around when someone's on the other side of that. And so the power of our likes and our positivity online is greater than we have any idea. We may never see the other side. We don't know what the people on the other side are going through, but I'm proof that someone who didn't know what was going on the other side, their small acts of kindness over and over and over changed my whole life.
Yeah.
So and that wasn't something that they had any idea was going on. So I'm just proof of it, and I think that a lot of people are finding that refreshing, because we've just started to think that everything is kind of bad or negative, or and we're not used to kindness for the sake of kindness. But
Yeah.
why not? Why can't we do that? Because just see each other and be there for each other. Why can't we do that?
It's a perspective thing. We tend to judge things right away just based on experiences or sort of being jaded or a societal thing. You assume always the worst and in so many cases that you shouldn't. You should give things a chance too. And I feel like
Yeah.
this movie's about opening yourself up and your mind and your heart in a lot of ways to new experiences. And it also another thing is here I took away from it is that it's so interesting that certain people are meant to come into your life, but they're sometimes not meant to stay in your life. And that's a lesson too. It made me kind of think about the people that have come across in my life and what I took away from them and what I learned from them, whether good or bad experiences, that as crazy as life is, things are sometimes just meant to be a certain way. And there's a reason why certain people come into your life. And it's to enhance you in a way you might not realize until later on sometimes in life or change something about you to set you on a right path. You discovered that personally, that sort of thing that transformed your life too, and that person. Tell me just like that aspect of sort of this these happy occurrences that happen that sometimes just things are for temporary, but they're so meaningful for a life impact of life, going forward.
Yeah, they say just some people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. I think I
Mm,
hear, one of those. And we want everybody to be a lifetime. That's the goal, but then
yes.
sometimes, obviously for many reasons, that's not the way it goes. And we have to other people on our other paths, we losses happen, all kinds of things as we know. But I think for me, it's a lot about being open to the magic in the everyday. We have these connections, it might be your waiter or your bus driver or your mail person or a blind date that maybe you only go on two dates but you learned something on it or whatever.
Yes.
It could be anything. Your second cousin that pops into town for a day. I mean, literally it could be anybody. And if you can just kind of be open to people and realize that be present and be open to people. You have no idea what could come from that connection, and just be open. And if they turn out not to be great, don't hang out with them. That's fine, but the magic of the everyday is all around us. Pass someone on the street and they've had a bad day, and you smile at them, or they smile at you. You can change your day. It really can. So I think changing all the way we think of these connections, just to be open and to not have expectations that are too high, because then you're always disappointed, right? You're chasing things that maybe aren't meant to be a lifetime. But yeah, it's and I so basic and also I think healing comes in unexpected ways. I'm proof of that too. Like I did not expect to have my childhood trauma healed by a stranger on the internet with my dad's name. I did not
Yes.
expect that to happen. That wasn't in the books. That wasn't something that someone said, "Oh, you know what? Why don't you try this?" Like, but when it started happening, when these notifications and things and he had access to my heart because of his name, and he was so kind. I did feel it. I did feel this healing start to happen. I said, "You know what? I'm going to stick around for this because something good is happening here." And so, what if I had just said, no, he's a stranger on the,
Right.
there's nothing to offer me. He's in a totally different field, a totally different state. I'm never going to, just be open, be cautiously open.
Yes. Do you still keep in touch with the family? Have they become sort of part of your life too now? Tell me about that sort of relationship. Have you maintained that?
Yeah, they become a little chosen family. We have a thread with with Terry, who was his wife, and his daughter Alora, who is in the movie. She's the cashier at the Facebook. I mean, she's the cashier at the hardware store.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yes. Oh,
a lot of people don't know that. Sometimes I forget to say it and
amazing.
came out, and she's in SAG now, and she's amazing.
Well, that's such a cool thing to sort of like include that personal thing and give her a moment too, I'm sure that she'll never forget and be on screen always.
Yeah, and one of her main key lines is "Your dad got it,"
Yeah,
which
yeah. I
so much.
remember he's like
Yeah,
getting all these supplies and
yeah.
everything, and she's just like sheepishly, trying to get the card out and like, this is gonna cost me a lot. Oh, great job, by the way. Good acting jobs.
Yeah, she's great. She had done some acting before, but I was like, it has to be you. This role has to be you. This line has to be delivered with the spirit of what it means. And there's no one else in the world that would know better. So she was just, I'm so glad. And Terry they came out to Louisville where we shot.
Mhm.
And Terry, Bob's wife, came to South by Southwest and Palm Springs and just kind of, gone around with us a lot, which is really lovely. So.
That's really cool. It's cool when you get to weave sort of this story and have the people sort of get their flowers too. You know, that work behind the scenes that meant so much to you too. I think that's a credit that you did that, and it's really cool to even hear that. It puts even a smile on my face, you know, and knowing that because it's just that extra sort of connection that it just comes full circle in so many ways. Tracie, like I said, this movie was one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. It really was. And I can't believe it because I didn't know what I was getting into when I was watching. I didn't look at the trailer. I didn't read the synopsis, sort of came around quickly. And I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. Oh, John Leguizamo, one of my favorite actors. So of course I'm going to check it out. And I enjoyed Barbie's work too. But the movie was transformative in so many ways, made me think about things and these sort of things that you and I talked about. And I really hope people have the same experiences as I did. And I'm sure they will in some way. There's so many slices of life to take away and perspectives to look at. And, just like you said, sort of opening up your eyes and heart to different things in life. And movies like that transform someone personally watching it is the greatest thing you could ever ask for.
Well, I second that. That sounds amazing. Everything you said. Thank you. Can you just say that into my voice recorder so I can play it every day? That's
Absolutely. I'm gonna have to send you my review of it. I went on a
Yay.
20 some minute rant just discussing how this movie meant to me and why people need to see it
I
because
mean,
of all these things.
you clearly get it. So thank you for your passion and for being open to the film. I'm so glad it resonated with you, and I just really hope it does for other people too. So
I
thank you so
have no
much.
doubt. I think this is the most worthwhile, and it's great. It's going to be in a movie theater. That communal experience, that sort of experience where you're not looking at your phone, you're not distracted. That's where this movie needs to be seen because it's a story. It's really about. It's a simple. I can't believe it's such a basic movie in a way because it's so simple with two people really about a connection and no fluff around it, and it's so intriguing throughout the journey. So just amazing work all around. I'm really happy you brought this to life, and I think many people will see it and are going to get impacted. And I sure hope they do. And I can't wait what's next from you, Tracie.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, hopefully I'll make another one soon and get to talk to you again.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, I'll be passing along my stuff. I'll do my best to support this movie on my end, and I feel definitely truly passionate about it. So
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. That's everything. Yeah, thank you so much, Jim.
thank you for taking the time to talk to me again. This was great. I'm glad we got more time.
Me too. Me too.
All the
Definitely.
best, Tracie. I'm rooting
Thank
for you,
you.
and hopefully, I'm a little piece of making this people at least convincing them to see it.
You already are. So thank you.
Take care,
So much.
Tracie. All the best. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.